Morning, Bill here with the Metals Minute. Today is Friday, November 4th, 2022. Well, we have gold shooting up over 1% this morning as the labor report came in, the jobs report came in mixed. There were a lot of jobs added, but on the other side, the unemployment rate shot up more than expected. So it was a mixed signal. We also have the dollar beginning to come back down a little bit, and so gold is taking the other side of that equation and going up this morning. Now, it's common for us to see, and yesterday it looked like the metals got smashed down whenever interest rates rose, and the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell indicated that there's not going to be a pivot like much of Wall Street wanted. So there's a lot of pressure on him to pause or begin lowering interest rates, but thus far he's not indicated any willingness to do that. And typically that's a challenging environment for the metals. As interest rates rise, people can get incrementally higher amounts on other types of instruments, whether it's CDs or new government bonds that are paying a higher rate. And some of the treasuries out there, the short term, even 3 months, you can get over 4%. So that takes a little bit of the wind out of the sails of the metals sometimes. But I believe people are realizing that the losses in currency will exceed whatever incremental interest rate increases can be received. And currently the real rates are still negative because they're lower than the inflation rate. And there's indications that inflation is not going to go away quietly. And so there's continues to be a strong demand for physical metal. And we have an article out, longer article that goes into detail about why central banks have just purchased more than they ever have in a single quarter in history. And so far for the year, we have the highest amount of central bank buying of gold since about 1969. And the year is not even completed yet. So as the final quarter plays out, we may be amazed to see how much gold is actually being purchased. And that's while the price has been coming down. And so that's an opportunity. As they raise interest rates, typically it strengthens the dollar and it makes gold cheaper for Americans to buy, while at the same time it's near all-time highs in other currencies. So we have this window of opportunity right now as Americans to load up while we can, and I believe we're going to see the protection and the advancement in the metals in a similar fashion that we did back in the mid 70s, 1970s to early 80s. And that's a once in a generation type of opportunity. And that's where we find ourselves right now. So those things are going on. We also see the reason that nations are accumulating gold is because many of them are going to need that for energy purchases. And they're exchanging some of their dollar reserves for gold. And the dollar used to be used for virtually all energy purchases of oil and even gas. But now there's a great portion of the world, including the world's largest energy exporter, which is Russia, and the world's largest energy importer, which is China, both using and willing to do energy transactions completely outside the realm of the dollar. That's been going on for a little while, but it's expanding to other nations in the world. So we see gold playing an increasing role. Silver's also playing an increasing role due to the transition to alternative energy. And so we see that as well. And we see paper selling. We see paper selling on Wall Street of silver and gold-based ETFs, but we see massive physical buying. And that's why there's such a discrepancy between the spot price and the physical price. And that number, I believe we're going to see a wide variance with for a long time. We're not going to see the minuscule differences between the two prices like we had in years past. I believe we're in a new world now, and it's a time to get physical whenever you can. And if the products you like are not abundantly available, consider another one. Silver is silver, gold's gold. And then you have the investment grade and you have the historical coins as well. And they should round out a different portion of your portfolio to have a well-rounded metals portfolio, just like they say you should have a well-rounded rest of your portfolio. It's the same way in the metals. And don't forget about platinum, and palladium is even more rare. You could fit all the palladium ever mined in an average size living room. And it's becoming more and more important as well. So keep that in mind. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you again next week. God bless.